You are on India Today podcasts and you are in the sledging room. Right, exactly a week after we predicted what could happen around this whole pitch controversy, this pitch buzz, what dry areas outside the left-handers, off stump, all of that gibberish from the Australian media. And look what happened. A thumping innings victory for India and two left-handed batsmen for India who were superb. Alongside Rohit Sharma, of course, captain's knock. But first off, Akshay, what did you predict? A 2-1 series win for Australia. I mean, technically that is not...
Exactly.
That can't happen. But come on.
Why can't
doesn't
it
make
happen?
logic.
Why can't it happen?
I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm saying technically it can still happen. But
3-1 can also happen.
For once, where a cricket journalist had to talk about where Australia can bounce back from, where do they muster the courage and the skill set to do this now?
See, mathematically it's possible, but I don't think it's
You
possible
only just
anymore.
want to stir up the
think,
hornet's nest.
I know. I am making another U-turn here. Okay, I don't think
You're a
it's
specialist. That's why you can always drive well in Noida. Yeah. I mean, look, all this whining and complaining from the Australians, and I'm not saying that the pitch buzz was centered around the Australian dressing room, but the Aussie media also quoted certain sources in the team saying this and that. But again, I might be wrong, but my understanding is also the fact that, look, this Australian media is an extension of the team, right? So whatever came out from the team perhaps got translated in the media. And also, I thought that was a little outlandish, that coverage. I mean, how do you see and interpret a pitch sitting from the press box or just merely looking at pictures, right? So sort of that played into India's hands, A. B, the Aussies forgot to do the basics right.
Yes. And what happened in the first test, everybody saw. Now today, BCCI announced that Dharamshala will not host the third test. Indore is going to host it. Fox Cricket tweets the story with the caption, Indore is the venue where R Ashwin has an bowling average of 12.08. I mean, again...
But Pacers also took wickets against Bangladesh. Again you're doing this. I mean, there is a conspiracy theory in everything. What did it start with? Okay, let's summarize this for our listeners. It started with the pitch then in Nagpur before the first test match. After that, the Aussies were fretting the fact that the centre pitch was watered. So they couldn't practice. As if practicing there for a day or two would have given them all the answers they needed to face Ashwin and Jadeja and Axar. Now, the test match being moved out of Dharamshala.
No, this point I won't agree with it.
Why?
See, according to media reports, Australia requested the curators in Nagpur not to water the pitch on Saturday evening. That was the end of the test match. The test match ended inside 3 days. And on that evening, Australia said, we want to practice there on Sunday and Monday. So don't water. Like you said, you asked us how will preparation help for them to face Ashwin and Jadeja. Even a student who
they had enough time.
Even a student who is going to fail, he works. He at least reads his books.
The Aussies brought in an Ashwin impersonator. Again, for the lack of a better word or description. That happened. Mahesh Pithiya. You did everything. You dug up pitches at Sydney to practice for ranked turners and India ranked turners. You did everything you could possibly. But the fact is that, do you have to accept that you're not good enough right now? Yeah. Look at what happened in Brisbane 2 years back. The Indians travelled to Brisbane, strict quarantine rules there. Again, that was after they had quarantined, the entire team had been quarantined for 14 days upon their arrival in Australia. That is why Rohit Sharma couldn't play the first 2 test matches. He was also under a period of quarantine. You went to that hotel in Brisbane, you were not allowed to leave your floor.
And you were given cold sandwiches.
You were not allowed to order room service until the BCCI stepped in and then obviously...
I think I read a report saying that Ravi Shastri took Ishant Sharma away and got some food for the entire team.
It was ridiculous what you did.
Everybody was frustrated.
But you did not hear too many complaints from the Indian team. Obviously, they were angry.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of such a long tour, ravaged by injuries, ravaged. And that we have spoken about that Brisbane Test match. And look what they did. They went to the Gabba and a heroic victory because their focus was on winning Test matches. It's not the same with Australia. It doesn't seem like that.
Yes, exactly. It just does not seem that Australia are here to play and win. All they did was they played their mind games. They lost the first test. And I don't see any test match where they will be coming back. I don't see. Practically it's possible. Theoretically it's possible. But the way they played in the first test match and with Dharamshala out of the equation now, I don't think Australia have any chance of coming back into the series.
No,
Are India scared of Australia playing in Dharamshala?
I was coming to that. The only test match in Dharamshala was an India-Australia test match, which India won, by the way.
Yes.
So
On a chilly winter morning with stark
it
Hazelwood and
was
Cummins
around the
running
same time, right? It was around the same time that they
Yeah.
played. Maybe that was Feb and March, I don't remember.
Yeah.
But about 6 years back, this was
But did the
approximately-
BCCI not know well in advance that the pitch and
No,
the
but these
outfield
things
was
can happen.
relayed?
It's not about the pitch. It was about the
Outfield.
outfield.
Yeah.
And these things can happen. What are they saying? In harsh winter conditions, patches of the ground are still bald where the grass hasn't quite
Did
evolved.
the winter set in 1 week back? The winter has been going on for 3 months.
No,
huh?
but you also try. But look, this is
No,
news.
I am-
Everybody
I am-
knows.
I am not-
No.
I'm
You
not
are now
pointing
trying to
fingers at
support
anyone.
Australian conspiracy
I'm
theories.
I'm not pointing
No.
fingers
No,
at
no.
anyone. But I'm just saying, why was the decision not taken?
Because
beforehand?
they wanted to delay it as much as possible for Dharamshala to host the test
And
match.
one
This is
more
a test
thing-
match
one
coming
more
back
thing
to
that is-
Dharamshala after 6 years.
One more thing that is very wrong with this last minute changes. You don't value the spectators. How many people would have
Yes,
planned
but,
their weekend trips
that
in the
is,
hills?
yeah. That is another thing. Look, that's a different thing altogether. I mean, spectator, comfort, etc., etc. That
So many people would have planned a holiday in the hills in the first week of March, and they would have wanted
you have
to.
a holiday planned in the hills. Why are you complaining?
No, I am just speaking
Yeah.
that there is no regard for fans who are the main stakeholders of
no.
right.
Look, it's
This-
more complicated than that.
right,
I mean,
yeah.
I'd rather look. If you go to stadiums across this country, and again, a few months back, the BCCI secretary did say that look, we want to improve things for the fans, right? But if you go to a lot of these stadiums, it's conditions are really, really, poor
Yeah.
in certain, those washrooms, whether it's, the stands where you're sitting, and things can get better.
Yeah.
But not to say that things are not getting better.
Even in that
certain new
BCCI press
stadiums.
release,
Yeah.
there was no information about ticket holder. I am not sure
No,
whether the
obviously
sales
they'll
of
be
the tickets have
reimbursed.
started or
No,
not.
for
Sales,
instance, the
yes.
sale did not start.
hasn't started. Yes.
Sales
I
for
am
the sale for the
holding
tickets
that
did
back.
not start
Yeah.
in Dharamshala. So that is one thing, right? I mean, planning your trips, and it's only from Delhi to Dharamshala. I mean, it's okay.
No, but
You can
people
still
who-
go.
People who want to come from Chennai to Dharamsala,
Still go. It's a beautiful place, but it's okay. It's look, everything. Why are the Aussies looking for conspiracy theories and everything? Sort of. Is this more hostile than on previous tours? First off, are they not gracious hosts? I mean, we are good. Gracious guests. Look, Australian media, they target visiting captains. It's old. It's old. It's an old trick. Every time a team visits, and especially it's a competitive team like India, they will target their captains. It's happened with England captains in Australia. Also, what you're not looking at is the fact that the last two series between these two countries were played in Australia.
Yes.
You argued in 2018-19 you did not have your full strength team. What happened in 2020-2021? You had everybody lined up, and India were ravaged by injuries. So why these mind games? And sort of would you say that, look, when you play these mind games, India are far better?
Yes. And if you see everything that has transpired over the past 3-4 years, Australia, what happened in the 2018-2019 series, Justin Langer came out and he said that Virat Kohli was a bullish guy. He was coming out. Tim Payne came out with different statements. His team lost. Then what happens in 2021? We again go and win the series over there. They can't win the series. And the pitches which were offered to the Indian team, we all talked about what happened there and how the things transpired, the condition, the way the Indian team was treated, the quarantine and everything. Now they come here. They start making this narrative even before the test series started. The day Pat Cummins and his team landed in India, Ian Healy comes out with a statement that Australia can win only if India make fair pitches.
Yeah.
Who describes these fair pitches?
Why
What
is
is-
Ian Healy so angry?
Yes.
Even after the Nagpur
he has called for
training-
ICC action on the
Yeah.
Nagpur
This is
training
embarrassing.
cancellation.
Now before a ball was bowled, you wanted the pitch to be. The way they started reacting was that they wanted the pitch to be, taken away entirely. After the practice session was cancelled, Ian Healy calls it embarrassing. It is. I don't think it's in the ICC's ambit to act on the ground staff watering the pitch after a test match is over. And I thought that was a fantastic test match wicket in India.
Yeah.
There were runs to be had on the first day. Australia collapsed.
Yeah.
Fantastic bowling from Jadeja and Ashwin and the two pacers.
And not to forget that Pat Cummins won the toss and they had
He
a beautiful
won the toss.
opportunity to bat India out.
Exactly. They won the toss. Rohit Sharma, the way he batted. Pujara, Kohli, poor shot selection. Surya Kumar Yadav completely outfoxed. Bharat outfoxed. Then Ashwin showed you can get runs with the bat. Jadeja and Axar, two left-handed batsmen who were batting against two very good off-spinners, Nathan Lyon and a debutant on fire.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. And you knew that according to the conspiracy theories, the rough outside the left-handers off stumps was made to be a little dry, right?
bone dry.
Bone dry.
Yeah.
But you didn't pick a left arm spinner. You didn't pick a leg spinner.
Yeah.
Manas Labuschagne got a couple of overs and he was thrashed.
Yeah.
What was it? The team selection was also so odd.
The team selection was
They
bizarre.
were spooked, I think.
Team selection was bizarre, yes. Look, Travis Head was dropped. Informed batsman, domestic, he had a great run in Australia in the home season. In comes Matt Renshaw. First ball duck in the first innings, not enough in the second innings. Peter Hanscom, again, completely disappointing. So your team selection was completely messed up. Obviously, the balance was alright because of the injury to Cameron Green. He couldn't bowl. Mitchell Starc and Josh Hazlewood were unavailable. But how much of a difference will that make in Delhi? Right? Cameron Green, by the way, is still not entirely certain. Mitchell Starc most likely will play, even if he's not 100%. He will have to now
unlikely to play.
Hazlewood is most likely not going to play. So who does Mitchell Starc replace? Scott Boland, who I thought was very impressive with his first 3 or 4 spells. You can't now remove Todd Murphy. Do you remove Nathan Lyon?
You know,
Where have Australia landed
Australia's
themselves?
biggest disappointment from that test would be Nathan Lyon.
100%.
For all that we speak about Ashwin versus Lyon, this was as disappointing as it could get for an overseas lead spinner.
Yeah.
Nathan Lyon should have set the tone. Now Australia are in the dilemma. They can't drop Todd Murphy.
No,
Will you drop Nathan Lyon?
You can't. I mean, that will be quite a statement, dropping Nathan Lyon after one test match. By the way, David Warner.
Exactly.
David Warner, over the last few test matches, forget his records in India, which are absolutely horrifying. He got a double 100 against South Africa, was it, in Australia?
Yeah.
Apart from that, either side of the double 100, he hasn't done much. So now you're going to have to take a call on that also. And David Warner not playing, does Travis Head now come back and play alongside Usman Khawaja as an opener? Usman Khawaja, this test match, again, complete disaster. Usman Khawaja's memories from India would be the 2013 tour where they were blanked 4-0. So it's Australia, this system is in a mess.
Yes, nothing is
I
going
think
right for Australians.
Pakistan helped India a great deal by providing those dead pitchers and then making Australia believe that the
But
subcontinent
Australia
challenge.
did play Sri Lanka. They won a test there.
Yes.
They played good spin there.
Yes.
And they should have been prepared for this series. But they are completely looking out of touch.
Yes.
By the way, they have had a great run at home. They are the number 1 test rank side. And they are on the verge of qualifying. They are almost in the finals of the World Test Championship. So what happened? That enigma, that drama which they pulled off before, the social media pulled off, they did backfire for them.
Absolutely. Had they focused on playing the surface, on playing their cricket, because it's the same for both the teams, right? The surface.
Yes.
You might argue that Ashwin, Jadeja and Axar are better equipped to, extract whatever there is from the pitch. But you can't complain, right? You can't complain. If you want to be the best travelling team in the world, if you want to retain that number 1 status in the world, you have to play even on minefields, even on roads, whichever conditions they are. This Nagpur pitch, I think R Ashwin put it perfectly well, described it perfectly well, saying that these are the pitches that I grew up watching. These are normal pitches where if you dig in, you bat, you get runs. That is what Rohit Sharma proved.
Look, it was a good pitch to bat on.
Yeah.
It was a good pitch for seamers if you knew how to extract reverse swing. If you
Shami
knew how
got
to-
reverse swing.
Exactly. You should. I mean, Rohit, Axar, Jadeja, these guys showed you can get runs. But it's about it boils down to the fact that you have to be ready for Test cricket. You have to be ready for Test matches. Every condition is unique. And now look at the mind games. I also think part of that is when Jadeja said, Ashwin bhag ke chala gaya udhar. He didn't want to. मैं ही bowling करूँगा, किसी और को नहीं करने दूँगा. Rohit Sharma saying it's difficult to stop these 3 guys.
I
Rohit
think
wants
it's
to
not Border-Gavaskar trophy this year is all about Ashwin versus Jadeja.
and imagine what this will do to the Aussies when they're reading these reports.
Even Jadeja made that comment, right? I think from the flight itself, they saw the rough in Nagpur.
And now they're having fun.
Yes. Even Axar Patel came out and he said that when we bat, I think the pitch changed.
But I mean, look, it's funny. It's funny given what's
I think
happened.
this time, India playing better mind games than Australia.
India always play better mind games. I always think India have been far better at these mind games than Australia. And I think credit for that goes to Saurav Ganguly many years back.
Absolutely.
Steve Waugh, the master of mental disintegration, the man who coined this term. beaten at his own
And
game.
after that, slightly wobbly period under MS Dhoni's captaincy, where he
Yeah,
didn't
I mean,
travel
but-
overseas
but-
well.
but you look at
Ravi
this-
Shastri should be credited. Virat
But you-
Kohli should be credited.
Exactly. I mean, even with Dhoni, by the way,
Yes.
at home,
Yeah.
look at that period from 2000 to 2023 now, 23 years. How often have Australia dominated India for particular phases?
Yeah.
You went to Australia in 2003-4. That was such a closely fought series.
1-1 draw,
2004, that was also a very closely fought series, even if you lost it, right? Sorry, that was 2007, 2008. In between, of course, in 2004, you lost a series in India.
Because of the same Pune pitch.
Because of Nagpur,
Nagpur,
2004.
Nagpur, yes,
I mean,
Nagpur.
those were internal politics.
Yes.
Thankfully, the BCCI and the administration is way beyond that now.
Yes.
But that was internal politics. I mean,
Yes.
that pitch completely played into Australia's hands. That pitch was made to suit Australia. But apart from that, look at the way India have dominated Australia. So I don't know where these issues are coming from. Is it to partly hide their follies, their pride? But Ian Chappell has been vastly critical. He says, stop
Yes.
whining. A lot of Mark Taylor said that at the start of the Test match. Stop whining. Stop complaining. Just get on with the game. India, they went to Brisbane and did what they did. Brisbane, where Australia hadn't lost a Test match since 1988. Of that change in 2021. Surely the Aussies can think of better ways to counter.
But
Now,
I don't, Raj, one thing is that India had the tools, right? India had the players who can handle bounce, who can handle seam. But I don't see anyone who can handle this quality of spin in this Australian
Akshay,
team this time.
when
Barring Smith and Labuschagne.
But look, when
do you think anyone is even looking
I
good
think
to
Usman
handle
Khawaja
spin?
is a good player of spin. You also, kind of, you're not giving your batters enough confidence. When you drop an informed run scorer like Travis Head and say that, look, we'll rather go back to Matt Renshaw and we'll go back to somebody who's playing Test cricket after 5 years or 6 years, that is not sending out the right message. And by the way, not everybody is equipped to play all sorts of conditions.
But you have
On
to
all
find
sorts
ways.
of pitches, you have to find ways
And
to
you
do
have
that.
to
Virat Kohli did that
Exactly.
in 2018. You have to find ways to do that. Australia have repeatedly toured India. David Warner toured in 2013. Usman Khawaja toured in 2013. Warner was again there last year. Smith was there last year. You have also toured Sri Lanka. The alarm bell should have been ringing from that defeat to Sri Lanka, that left armer, Jayasurya. You
Prabhat
couldn't,
Jayasuriya.
Prabhat Jayasuriya
Prabhat
destroyed
Jayasuriya.
you. And you were obsessing over Ashwin. I mean, Dinesh Karthik also started trolling them now. You were obsessing over Ashwin. It almost seems like Jadeja came out of syllabus. There is Axar Patel, by the way. He would also want to get in the thick of things. I'm sure somebody is going to sit them down and say, no, Axar, I want to bowl from that particular end. And then Axar is going to get into this wicket. So the kind of mind games that India could already play inadvertently, Saurabh, that is just, the Aussies should, underline it, the Aussies should have been better prepared.
And whatever Australians have done, you have to create the Indian team. The way they have played. Every player is coming out and playing their role. When Virat Kohli failed with the bat, when Pujara failed with the bat, it looked like the match is going even-Stevens. But what happens? Then comes Ravindra Jadeja and Axar Patel. Both score 50s. After Rohit Sharma's 100, I think that partnership changed the entire match. Australians completely lost the match then and there. And I believe that whatever you do, whatever has happened, Australia, I think they last won a test in India in 2017. It has been
Pune.
6 years since they won a test against India in India. And if you look at the entire history in last 6-7 years, they won just 2 tests against India.
Yeah, in their own conditions.
In their own
I mean,
conditions.
obviously, they're coming to India after 6 years, but yeah, I know, I get the point he's trying to make. That Australia have, are they intimidated by the
Yes,
Indian team?
India have been the kryptonite for Australia. If you look at the past test histories, Australia have beaten every team that has toured Australia in their home conditions. But India, they go there, they win a series under Virat Kohli. They go there, they win a series with an injury-ravaged squad under the leadership of Stanton skipper Ajinkya Rahane. So Australia, whatever mind games they play, they have been playing, it's not working for them. It's working against them.
Yes.
And the most important thing, whatever you say off the pitch, you have to come and perform. You play spin, you play fast bowlers. And you talk about spin, what happened in the first test match? Australia win the toss, bat first. Both their openers get out to the pacers.
No, but in all fairness, is it the Australian team? Is it the Australian media? Is the Aussie media an extension of the team? So it's all boiling down to the same thing because, look, they're close to each other, as I'm sure most touring sites are to their own travelling media, which is okay. I'm sure senior journalists speak to senior cricketers in the setup, so it's all right. But they're also reading a lot of what transpires or what goes down.
Yes.
But it's just embarrassing to see the kind of conspiracy theories being cooked up. It's you want to watch Test cricket between two of the finest cricket teams, between two of the proudest cricket nations. You want to see great battles between Smith and Ashwin, Kohli and Pat Cummins, Kohli and Mitchell Starc.
It was robbed off in the first test at least, right? First test was just a one-way traffic.
I think what the Aussie media did then backfired on their own team, and I think what they continue to do now is also backfiring on their own team. Ask the right questions. Ask them why you were not well prepared. Ask them what was Usman Khawaja doing playing that shot. Ask them why you weren't proactive enough when Andrew McDonald, Steve Smith, everybody's been saying that, look, you have to be a little more aggressive and a little more assertive against the spinners. They were timid. They were scared.
Alex Carey's reverse sweep is his defense. That's what R Ashwin said. I can't. And if you're going to bank on someone to get you 38 in 35 balls in a test match and be happy with it, I don't think you want to go anywhere.
Is it the right approach? Two off spinners, fine. Todd Murphy had a brilliant debut. But also let's put things into perspective. A few of his wickets were gifts.
A lucky dismissal.
KL Rahul, horrible shot at the fag end of the day. Cheteshwar Pujara, unlucky. Poor. I wouldn't call it poor shot selection. He was just trying to be assertive.
Virat
Kohli, poor shot selection, unlucky. He didn't have to do that at that stage.
Yes.
So 3 of those wickets, by the way, 3 of those top order wickets were just gifted by the Indians, right? You don't know what's going to happen to Todd Murphy in Delhi. Maybe Australia would hope that he continues his dream run. Nathan Lyon was so disappointing. You haven't had a look at Ashton Agar yet.
Yes.
And you've bought in another left arm spinner. You've flown in.
And you have
so
Mitchell Swepson's going back.
Yes.
So it's complicated.
And what's the message to Agar now? Is he the preferred left arm spinner in the team?
I'll tell you what. Again, obviously, we can't decide for the Aussies. But look, here's what could happen. Either Travis Head walks in for David Warner. Travis Head has opened. I'm sure has he opened?
I'm not very sure.
I'm not very sure that he has opened.
But who did? But I think Usman Khawaja, when he came back into the side, he opened, and Travis Head went back to the middle order. I'm not sure. So, but anyway, so you have Travis Head probably coming for David Warner, if David Warner's dropped.
And will you stick with
Matt Renshaw out? Ashton Agar in for me.
Yeah.
But that does not still balance your bowling lineup because you have 3 finger spinners, which India also have 3 finger spinners. That's about the same variety that India have. 2 left armers.
Can they play Mahesh Bhatia?
Only in the nets, unfortunately. I mean, now not even that. I mean, he was there in Alur, but that's not going to happen. And Pat Cummins looked very, very unimpressive.
Yes.
He did not take enough onus as a leader.
Absolutely.
After being hit by Rohit Sharma,
Yes.
he just took himself off the attack. That was a little frustrating to see.
And
I mean, even for an India fan.
Barring that 5-6 overs from with the second new ball where he got the wicket of Rohit Sharma.
Immediately after tea on the second day.
Literally nowhere in that bowling attack.
Yeah, and you expect when your team is getting battered, you expect your senior players to step up.
Exactly.
Your captain, you expected Nathan Lyon to come out and pick wickets.
Yes.
But they were not there.
No, they was very un-Australian captain. Very un-Australian-like. I mean, that captain, you'd expect them to lead from the front.
Yes.
Be more
like you
assertive.
said, Raj, it's disappointing for the Indian fans also because we were all saying that Australia is going to give India its toughest challenge at home because after Sri Lanka, after West Indies, all of them were rolled over in India. We thought Pat Cummins' Australian side, the world number 1 test side, would challenge India. But from the evidence in the first test, it's going to go downhill unless and until someone takes onus. Someone says, Steve Smith, Marnus Labuschagne says that we are not going to throw away our starts. We are going to go score hundreds after hundreds. Unless that happens, I still don't think that you have the bowling tools to trouble India.
I remember Adam Gilchrist just before the series started, he came in on a podcast, an Australian podcast, and he came out and said, this Australian team has the experience of touring India and repeating what my team did in 2004. So he was basically banking on those experienced players like Steve Smith, Marnus Labuschagne, not Labuschagne, but he also experienced, I think, Pat Cummins, Nathan Lyon, Usman Khawaja, David Warner, to come out and perform. And I don't think any of us expected that Scott Boland will be the best pacer and Todd Murphy will be the highest wicket taker from Australia. So you need your experienced players to come out and perform if you're playing a team like India in their home conditions.
You know, when what Adam Gilchrist said was also probably part of the Aussie mind games because I was surprised when he made that comparison and he's someone I have utmost respect for. But when he compared that Australian team of 2004 to the one now, Way off the mark, Adam. Way off the mark. And also that Indian team, which was, again, a star-studded lineup, but they had their issues at home for that series, obviously. And this team, which is so clinical in these conditions. It's I think, India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, let this team go play anywhere, even on those flat pitches in Pakistan. This Indian team will find a way to win test matches.
Yes.
Right? The other aspect is that Australian team was, they had the flair. Not this team. This team, again, Usman Khawaja was part of this team in 2013. He didn't come in 2016-17. Only Smith and Warner were here. Peter Handscomb and Shaw. I mean, they had decent outings. Smith was brilliant, absolutely superbly impressive. That was the beginning of his, the start of that aura, that era. But David Warner's numbers haven't been significantly good. Usman Khawaja has done precious little in India. Matt Renshaw, Peter Handscomb on the evidence of one series. Is that what you call favourites? Nathan Lyon, average. Yeah. Mitchell Starc could be a game changer. In any condition for me.
Having played so many matches at home, winning so many matches at home, preparing so well, you bring back someone like Peter Handscomb who played his last test in 2019.
I was surprised.
What message are you sending the players who have played over the last 3 years? Are you selecting subcontinent specialists? There's always a thing, right? You play your best players.
Then why bring Travis?
You play your best bowlers.
My question is, why bring Travis?
Yes.
I mean, if you're doing that, one of the best test batters in the world on current form, and you bring him to India and you say, you're not playing the first test match because we don't think you're good enough to play on these Indian pitches. So that's why, to round this up.
One more thing, one last thing. India didn't play their best cricket in the first test. India can still, India have still room for improvement. Yeah. And all these guys, Pujara, Kohli, they take pride in performing and they will not let another opportunity go.
They will be hungry.
Saurabh Kohli's performances against Australia at home will matter. 2016-17, horrible tour. Yes. Horrible series for him. And he was in the middle of Bradman-esque format.
Yes. He would want to correct his numbers. At home. And when that happens, I don't think this Australian team have the tools to even compete in India.
7 or 8 test matches against Australia in India. He's just got that 100 Virat Kohli. So he'd want to correct. The scope for course correction there. Pujara, thorn in the flesh for Australia. Yeah. They were elated. I mean, I was thinking at that moment on Friday, on the second day, from an Australian perspective, my goodness, they would have been relieved to see Pujara go that early and that to a debutant spinner. Exactly. Nathan Lyon would have been Todd Murphy's best friend for that.
The series would have ended there only. Pujara would have batted till the third day morning.
Imagine with Rishabh Pant and Shreyas Iyer in that line.
Oh, yes.
Rishabh Pant, by the way, just tweeted out pictures a few days back of him walking in crutches. Hopefully, our prayers are with him. Wish him a speedy recovery. Yeah. But I just hope that, God. Shreyas Iyer, by the way, is he going to be available for the second test match? That's something we'll have to wait and watch.
Yes.
So he is an immediate...
some photos and videos from the NCA.
He's an immediate replacement then. If that happens, he's an immediate replacement for Surya Kumar Yadav in that lineup. Shreyas Iyer, I think arguably in that lineup, the best player of
Just one question. Will you play Shubman Gill ahead of KL Rahul for the second test?
I would.
Definitely.
Without batting an eyelid. I just batted my eyelids, but I would play Shubman Gill.
Definitely.
Shubman Gill has to play.
He deserved to play that first test.
Imagine, again, that was a selection. Again, that's a little complicated for India, right? You're the vice captain. You're coming back after a break. Give him that chance. But I think KL Rahul will also play that second test match. Yeah. You can't drop the vice captain after just this one match in the series. But gosh, Shubman Gill, you need him in that lineup. And that confidence, right? His first test 100 a few days back. His first T20 100, ODI double 100. My goodness, this guy started off
I just hope that
like
Australia
a beast
find a way to come back.
Yeah, we all want to see competitive cricket when India and Australia.
The 2017 series was an absolute cracker.
I'm not going to say I want Australia to win the Delhi test. I want India to win the Delhi test. Right? I want them to be a little more competitive. Yes. Not just turn up and fold.
Be more empathetic towards people who have bought day 4, day 5 tickets.
And you want Border-Gavaskar trophy to live up to its name.
Was there a slight under the belt wrap for the Aussies? We're going to be friendly with them. Just some of them are. Yeah.
Every test ending inside 3 days. The broadcasters are not happy.
We're not happy. We want more action. It wasn't, we wanted it. But I told you that I think this Indian team will want to wrap it up on Saturday. One session.
And if you win the second test, you retain the Border-Gavaskar trophy.
Yeah. Hopefully that is going to happen. And We want an Aussie fight back. I mean, as an Indian fan, I'd want an Aussie fight back, but I'd want India to win. But on that note, please do reach out to us on pods@indiatoday.com. Saurabh and Akshay, of course, coming back with me on the Sledging Room in the next episode, because there's going to be plenty to discuss through this Delhi Test match, and heading into Indore will be a pretty hectic week
Australia
coming
winning
up.
by an innings and 333 runs.
Yeah. We'll see. Akshay
Oh,
rooting
yeah.
for the Aussies. If you see this guy and you want to have your questions, please feel free to ask. But or also you can ping us on 8588966996 and tell us why you think Akshay always creates these unnecessary controversies and speculation around visiting teams and the opposition. He tends to support any team that plays India. I don't know why. But if you're also consuming this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other listening platforms, please do rate us and please do send in your comments. We will be happy to read them on our episodes. And thank you so much for joining us. And here's hoping to another adrenaline-charged test match in Delhi from the 17th of February. We'll be back with more next week. Thank you. You are on India Today Podcasts, and you are in the Sledging Room.